Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Commissioners Court. I'm going to call this meeting to order. This is a special called meeting. The date is Tuesday, May 28th, 2024 at 9 a.m. We're physically located at Beeville County Courthouse, Commissioners Courtroom, number 110, 105 West Corpus Christi St, Beeville, Texas, 78102. That was the call to order. Would everybody please join Commissioner Witt in brief prayer.
Father God, we want to thank you for this day. Thank you for life. Thank you for putting it on this earth. Guide us, direct us, give us the wisdom and the knowledge to do what is best for the citizens of D County and move D County forward. Please protect those folks that are in harm's way, our first responders, our military, and our police force. And if you will, sir, please send us a little rain. We really would appreciate it. We ask all these things in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And the Texas pledge. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Excellent. Great start. Firing on all cylinders this morning. That was agenda item number 3. Well, you got to be your own best cheerleader, right? We're on agenda item number 4, recognition of visitors. We have a full commissioner's courtroom this morning. Thank you so much for being here. To our guests, please come back. This is not public comment. This is just recognition of visitors. If there's anybody who would like to identify themselves for our record, you may do so at this time. Just raise your hand and I will call on you and then you can say who you are. But again, not public comment. And there's no compunction that anybody do so. So only if you feel the spirit, you may do so at this time. Moving on, agenda item number 5, Commissioner's Court opening remarks. Commissioner Lenny, are you first this time? No, it's Commissioner Olivares. Curveball. Go ahead, sir.
Good. Good morning, everyone. Glad to be back. Had a great few days away from the office. You know, a couple of things that are taking place right now. Thanks to the road and bridges for doing the typical brush pickup, so kudos to them. We're doing a lot of road prep. So pretty soon we're going to be seeing some resurfacing of streets coming up there in the Skidmore area. So it's a big plus there. In the area of the adult juvenile, we have some flooring that we're going to be hopefully awarding contract here this week. I think we have all the dollars finalized, so it's looking good. So we'll have that addressed this week. And then with the EOC, things are moving along well. No major deficiencies that are taking place. The conduit is moving pretty quickly. Sheet rock for the walls, drywall. Some people call it drywall, sheet rock, gypsum board. You know, it's all, most of it's been delivered, so that's going to be the next phase of it. So things are looking good. And with that, I'm going to get back some time here. So Commissioners want to elaborate on other things.
I think we're all at a loss of words. Thank you.
Yes, everybody is. The past 2 weeks, I had a meeting with the South Texas judges and commissioners, finalizing the conference for the end of June for all the judges and commissioners for the annual conference in South Padre Island. And then had another meeting at BDA. There's some things that are developing out there, but we'll fill that in later at another meeting when that's done. Road and Bridge, big thank you for fixing the fire department. People called me from Blanconia, and they have their new building, the new concrete apron, and there was a big gap between the old parking lot and the road and bridge was out there, and they put bleach in it, they fixed it up, and it's all level, really nice. So thank you, tell the guys thank you very much. Okay. The transfer box for the generator here at the courthouse still has not arrived. We're still looking at about less than a month to get this generator up and running and then finish the facade on it. And also working on the sidewalk on the west side over here. It's all broken and cracked. We got some bids out, so that's in the works right now as well. And with that, I'm going to pass the Commissioner to it.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
You got about 15 minutes.
15 minutes. I got time. Oh, that's fantastic.
Judge.
First thing we're going to do, we're going to talk about shingles. And my wife asked me to tell everybody, if you hadn't had the shingle shot, go get it. She's had shingles for the last 3 weeks. It's not pleasant. Now, check with your physician to be sure you can take the shot. She wasn't able to take the shot because of medication she's on. But she said as soon as she gets over the shingles, she's gonna talk to her doctor and see if she can't take the shot. You do not wanna get the shingles, trust me. If you know anybody who's had it, it's not good. She hadn't really been able to leave the house. On a 0 to a 10, she's been about a 4. Yesterday she was up to about an 8, and I'll tell you what we did yesterday, but that's on down the line. But get the shot. Get the shot. Okay, I always try to keep everybody up to date on the wind and solar farms. The last meeting we talked about the lady that had gotten a call on Wildcat Lane about they were leasing for solar farms. I've had several phone calls now. They're also leasing from 673 Mineral Cemetery Road past Mineral Cemetery. I'm not sure what all's going on. There's some high areas in there they're looking at. The best advice I can give people is get with your neighbors and decide whether you want them or don't want them, and then go forward with a united front. If enough of you say you don't want them, it's not gonna happen, because they're only gonna hang around for a certain period of time trying to lease that property. So it's real active on, north of Beeville, so do what you need to do. And I'll tell you how interesting it is. People are so interested in the wind and solar farms. I spent several hours with a group in George West last week that called me and wanted me to go over there and talk about wind and solar farms to them. There's what usually happens and what we've seen happen in B County, the large landowners usually lease to the solar companies. As a general rule, those large landowners don't live here. They live in San Antonio, Houston, Dallas, or somewhere else. And they've got the big stick. They've got 1,000 acres, 2,000 acres, and they wind up with the wind turbines on their property. Now, if you do lease, here's some information for you that I know that it's first-hand information. They're paying around $15,000 a year per wind turbine in the north part of the county. I got this from one landowner who's getting a check. Okay, that has gone up to about $18,000 is what they're telling you you might get now. And the lady that I talked to, that they talked to her attorney says they should be getting $32,000 per turbine. So if you do lease, go for the whole thing. Don't be bashful. They've got billions of dollars. And if you do lease, try to put in your lease that they have to put in a radar system so the lights only come on when there are aircraft in the area. That was done north of Mineral. Even though the people don't, and I can see it from my ranch, even though the people don't like the looks of the wind turbines, it's worse at night when those lights are blinking. Those lights don't blink up there unless there's aircraft in the area, so it's I don't know what the right word is, acceptable or it's palatable or whatever you want to call it. They're gonna be there anyway, but you don't have to look at the lights. If any of y'all have gone down to Corpus at night, you get to Mathis and you look, there's nothing but red lights blinking on the whole horizon, the whole area down there is blinking. You can imagine the people that live down there have to live with that all the time, that constant blinking. I'll move along from that. Had the opportunity and the honor of being at the Mineral Cemetery yesterday for the memorial celebration. My wife, who I just told you had shingles, was the guest speaker. She soldiered through, she did a good job. There were a lot of people there. They hold this every year. They do a fantastic job at Mineral. They really do. With that note, I will pass to my colleague to the right.
All right. What's fast today?
Don't ruin the street.
Yeah. All right, with that, it's actually been somewhat of a slow couple of weeks. Had some issues. Had to give Road and Bridge about. Man wanted to know what it took to put a culvert in there on Lehman Road, gave him all the instructions, and got with Ray and Gloria and get that on the schedule. Some brush pickup, I talked to Ray about that as well. And then there was a speed limit sign issue on Beltry Street, and we'll get that taken care of as well. So thank you, Molly, Road and Bridge, for all the work you guys do. I think I mentioned last time that I was working in conjunction with the Board of Realtors and Blue Ribbon on a fan drive. Just to let everyone know that they are still accepting fans, but come this Saturday is when the distribution will take place. So if you are in need of a fan, you can go to Blue Ribbon come Saturday. and thereafter to grab one. Now, I'm gonna put this out there, guys, if you have air conditioning, and don't just go get a fan just because it's free. There's a lot of people that do not have AC and are in need of a fan, so just be aware of that, please. With that, I will pass back to Judge.
I've been looking for an opportunity to try out some new speech parts that I've been working on. And it looks like this morning is going to be my opportunity. Things are going well, in all seriousness. From the county perspective, we're getting started with the budget. And so I'm looking forward to meeting with all of our department heads and elected officials to talk about their wants and needs. And hopefully it'll be a successful and painless budget season. I know our auditor's department has already been working very diligently directly with some of our department heads and elected officials, but also on their own to help us get WIC into shape. And so I thank everybody on the front end for your efforts in that regard. The only other thing that I'd like to say, and I appreciate the commissioners allowing me to make these comments, but I would open the floor back up to any commissioner that wants to add on to it. This past week, we lost Paul Howdett. He was I don't think there's anybody that's ever met or got to know Mr. Howdett that doesn't think the world of him. You can't find a nicer man. I have some really funny stories from when I was when my children were younger and we were competing in the livestock show. We got some really good advice from Mr. Howdett on how to get our pigs to show well. I can't share the whole story with you, but it did involve a bottle of Tabasco sauce. And it was not anything that we ever felt comfortable or confident enough to try ourselves, but apparently it really helps with humping up their back. He was quiet spoken, but he was incredibly funny. He cared about everybody that he met and talked to. And I know all of our thoughts and prayers and our sense of loss as well go out to the entire Howdett family. We wish Sarah Howdett a speedy recovery, and so we're all, I think everybody in the community was incredibly moved by the sudden loss of Mr. Howdett.
He had no strangers.
He did not.
He knew to speak to everybody and was always words of kindness and wisdom.
You know, we were with them that night. There's a group of folks that get together once a month called the Do Nothing. And we had a dinner that night, and we saw them that night. Always smiling, always happy. Good people, good folks.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to add that his wife will have many surgeries to come, and I heard that she's able to talk a little bit and whatnot now, but anyone that's interested, they are collecting cards and stuff like that you can get with Meredith Wicker at the Blue Ribbon, and by this Friday, and they're going to take a bunch of stuff out to her. So anyone interested in getting a card for her, stuff like that, get with Meredith at Blue Ribbon.
Thank you. Go ahead. Yeah, absolutely.
I think what this tells all of us, that life is very tentative. Hug that special person, tell them you love them. You never know what the next hour's going to bring.
And for crying out loud, slow down on our small county roads, whether it's this county or any other county. You're not in that big of a hurry. Paul and Sarah were heading to her sister's house to pick her up, and there was really nothing that they could do, and it's just a damn shame. So think about that next time you get behind the wheel of your car and you're in a hurry to get to the store, get to your friend's house, or do anything. Just take a beat and slow down. Moving on, public comment, agenda item number 6. Is there any members of the public who wish to address Commissioners Court? Now is your opportunity to do so. Moving on, agenda item number 7. This is going to be a short meeting. The following items are, I'm not suggesting that people need to speak, but if you want to, you're more than welcome to but anytime, except that I've moved on now from that agenda item, so not this meeting, but maybe the next one. Agenda item number 7, the following items are of an administrative nature. Commissioners Court has been furnished documentation on each item, and all such items may be acted upon by one vote without being discussed separately unless requested by a commissioner or county judge.
Move to approve with comment.
I have a motion, do I have a second? Second. I have a motion and a second. Commissioner DeWitt, you have the floor.
Comment is, and I'm sure the auditor will reinforce this, our return on investments for tax pool is between 5.32 and 5.33%, which is quite a bit of interest. That's a good thing.
Yes, and our depository interest, I believe is 5.32.
Yes, it's all in that 5 point range. That's a good thing.
It's been a little over a year, right? A year and a half since everybody's savings accounts actually return more than 1 or 2 pennies of interest on your monthly statements, and that's a great thing. I'm sure there's other reasons to be concerned about it, but it's wonderful to see you actually earn interest on your money. If there's no further discussion, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. Moving on, discuss and consider action on the following items. Agenda item number 8, introduction of A&M medical students. We're going to pass on that agenda item. It'll come back up in a later agenda. Our new medical students are not quite here yet. Agenda item number 9, presentation on the Coastal Bend Disaster Recovery Group, given by Christopher Brandt, Executive Director. Mr. Garza, do you want to introduce Mr. Brandt first, or just give him the floor?
I'll give them the floor.
Mr. Brandt, how are you?
See, you thought everything was going fast, and then you know why it's coming, right?
No pressure, but it is going very smooth.
Well, I just thought it was more for me, right? So, how many of you gentlemen have heard of Coastal Bend Disaster Recovery Group? So, because it's hurricane season, I try to get out and remind all the counties that Coastal Bend Disaster Recovery Group is in existence. We have a MOU agreement with the county to recognizing us as a long-term recovery group for the Coastal Bend. We have contracts with our MOUs with all the counties, 11 counties of the Coastal Bend. So, Coastal Bend Disaster Recovery Group, we're focused on the long-term recovery, and as you can see on this map, it kind of gives you an example of the recovery portion of a disaster. When a disaster hits, you'll have the preparedness, which is what we're actually into right now, is preparedness, getting ready for the next disaster. When the disaster hits, there's immediate response. Short term, that's usually people cutting the trees up that have fallen down, or patching roofs just so that they don't have their house getting worse. Intermediate response, that's a little bit more trying to get the community back to where it was before the disaster. And then long term, which is what we're focused on, which is what I describe as a permanent solution. So say, for example, somebody's roof was damaged by a windstorm, and somebody patched it up and helped them. What we would do is we would go in and repair the roof and put a brand new roof on it, rather than not repair but replace a roof. And so it's a long-term solution so that that homeowner is back to where they were, but that the home will be safe for the next 25 years. When do we respond? We respond when there's a federally declared disaster and individual assistance has been approved. So we were founded in 2015 with the Nueces Jim Wells County floods. We responded to Harvey and the winter storm Uri, which we helped with people with frozen pipes. So our mission is to strengthen regional long-term recovery by addressing and jointly resolving individuals' unmet needs and disaster-related needs. So again, we're not urban renewal, we're just here to help people that have lacked the resources to recover from a disaster on their own. So an unmet need is a basic need that is disaster related. So we like to say it's safe, sanitary, and secure. So we wouldn't help somebody get granite countertops, we would probably help them with Formica countertops, right? So we're just trying to get them back into a basic, safe, sanitary, secure position. Ultimately, a person's recovery is their own. And so we just try to give them a leg up with their recovery, and they'll finish their recovery on their own. CBDRG handles disaster case management. I believe there was only two, with Harvey, there was only two agencies that did case management in B County. One was BCFS, which was paid for by FEMA through the state, and then Coastal Bend Disaster Recovery Group. We also had case managers in B County. Because we're local, we're the first ones to do case management, and we're the last. So when BCFS decided to end their contract, I'll be politically correct for a moment, decided to end their contract with the state, they turned their cases over to us so that we could help those individuals in B County complete their recovery. And so that's one of the advantages of having a long-term recovery group here in the area, is that we're the first ones there and we're the last. And with COVID, a lot of agencies left, and they gave the clients to us to try to help them complete their recovery. Coastal Bend, we like to believe that we're here to help people, not make them dependent. It's an essential part of our organization, is we're just trying to help them with the recovery. We're not trying to create dependent people that need to, because when you're in a rural area, which we all are, people tend to be very self-sufficient on their own. But when you have a disaster, that's sometimes outside the scope of your normal thing that a person can handle. So we're just trying to help them with their recovery. So who receives help from CBDRG? We help homeowners that are low income or socially vulnerable, elderly, maybe a single household with minor children, somebody who's disabled, or an honorably discharged veteran. CBDRG is unique because we have a volunteer donations management team. We also do construction, we do case management, we do unmet needs roundtable, we do spiritual and emotional care, and then we have grants and funding and communications. Normally, long-term recoveries don't do all of those things. So this is a concept I think that was really hard for a lot of people to understand. And I didn't really understand it until I worked with the organization for about 3 years. How we differ from other long-term recovery groups. There might be a little long-term recovery group that pops up here, there, Refugio or Aransas or something. But because we're regional, we provide what I call a big top. And so when there's a disaster, there's a lot of goodwill across the country, and people are like, I want to go help. But these national organizations don't know the layout of the land. So what they're looking for is a place to plug in locally to try to help out, to be efficient. And so that's what CBDRG offers it, is that, like Mennonites Disaster Services, I don't know if you guys have heard of them, they're the Amish. They, in the wintertime when they have snow on their crops or in the fields, they'll come down and help build houses. So they don't do case management, they don't do funding, they're looking, or case management. So they're trying to come here, and they just want to work on construction. So what we do as CBDRG, we go out and try to find them funding, we find them a place to stay, we find clients that are in need. And so that's what we do. That's why I say we're kind of a big top, because we have different agencies. A lot of agencies don't offer all of the services, they're very specific, like Mennonites, it's labor. Another group, it might be funding. And everybody deals with restrictions. So by us creating this unmet needs roundtable, which is kind of a big top, people can come together to solve the disaster together. Our disasters seem to get more expensive, they seem to get bigger, and not one organization can help a person usually. So we'll rely on Salvation Army, we'll rely on Mennonites, we'll rely on funding. So we take all these groups to address the client's needs. And that's really what we do, that's our organization. And again, I mentioned the Unmet Needs Roundtable. That's a coalition of the willing where people come together and try to cooperate to solve people's needs. Somebody might need a new roof and somebody says, well, I have labor. And they're like, but I don't have any money. And somebody else might say, well, I have the money. I'll buy the materials if you provide the labor. So then there's a cost savings by going together. And then there's also a way for them to get that project done that wouldn't normally be able to get done had it not been for our roundtable where people can come together. Last year we received the annual Governor's Award for Excellent in Disaster Volunteerism. We had over 180,000 volunteer hours for Harvey, which we figured saved us roughly $3.4 million in construction costs. And then on the back here, I have the list of some of our board members, which are all local, trying to take in most of the community. What we're doing right now is we're in preparedness. We're not funded by the state. So we're trying to find local, regional industry partners that are willing to donate to us to keep us open, because we were open because of Harvey, because of the flood. We had just completed the flood and then Harvey hit. And one of the lessons learned why we were so successful was because we already existed and we were already open. When you talk to the national organizations, it puts back recovery efforts 2 years if there's not a local long-term recovery group. And so that means that people have to wait 2 years before the community gets their act together so that they can start receiving national help. Whenever you have a disaster, there's a very short window, because disasters seem to happen more frequently and closer together, where you have this influx of goodwill. So by us being open and available and existing, we can receive those volunteer dollars, we can receive those volunteers, and we can help immediately. Harvey was in August of 2018. Because we were already going, we had received generous donations from the HEB family, and some local industry, and a lot of national money. And so we were actually able to start our recovery efforts with construction in October of 2017. That is unheard of. When you look at like Sandy and stuff, you're talking years. And so because that's the lesson learned that we really want to impress to the community, is that we are nationally recognized because we were so successful, but the biggest reason for our success was that we were already up and going and operating. Does anybody have any questions for me? I know I probably gave you more information than you needed to know.
No, this has been excellent, sir. Thank you. Commissioners, any questions?
How do we coordinate through our emergency management people with you?
Yes. So if there was a disaster, federally declared disaster, either we would notify the county that we want to start, recovery efforts, or the county could ask us if we could provide recovery as part of our MOU. We use the Coastal Bend Community Foundation. So if there was a disaster, say a tornado or something, and people were like, well, where should we send money? You can tell them to send money to the Coastal Bend Community Foundation on behalf of us, and they would receive the money, and then they would give it to us. And I would come to the Commissioner's Court and let you guys know what we're doing with the money and all that type of stuff to keep you abreast of the situation.
To boil this down, from what I'm hearing, y'all are the overall coordinators.
Yes.
Kind of bring everything together in one place and then send it back out.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. I'm glad you put it that way. That is exactly what we do. Because without that coordination, people just kind of go off and do their own and get lost in the weeds. I know with Lake Charles, the Mennonites were so frustrated, they wanted to go there, but they couldn't go there for 2 years because they didn't have, like I said, a long-term recovery group. One of the things that we do differently is we fund everything through the Unmet Needs Roundtable. In other words, we fund, different case managers will present their cases to long-term, so it might be BCFS, it might be UMCOR, it might be Lutheran Social Services, or Catholic Charities. Those case managers will come there, and then when they present the case, all I would know as executive director is their demographics as far as like how many people, how old, is there a veteran, is there a disabled person, their income, the city, and the county. And the reason why we have to know that is because some of our funds get restricted. But I don't know what street they're on, I don't know, what religion they are, I know none of that. One of the reasons that Mennonites value us so much is because we stick to that. There's a lot of times what happens is these long-term recovery groups get perceived either rightfully or wrong, favoritism, right? So they're like, well, that's because you got help because blah, 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 blah. And because we're regional, we're local, but there's a little bit of distance, so nobody can say, oh, that's because the county commissioner or whatever. So that's one of the things that's really good about what we do. We were created by emergency managers in the area who saw a need, and so that's why we exist.
I'm guessing too that this board is non-compensated.
They're all volunteers, correct?
That's what I thought, so that's.
And they work really hard, especially
I
during disaster.
admire what you guys are doing and what I'm seeing, I think it's fantastic. I didn't know this existed. This is good.
Well, that's why I'm here, because we're getting close to hurricane season. So I just want to make sure everybody's aware that we exist.
And great presentation, and thanks for letting us know all the things, great things that you're doing. A few weeks back, myself and Ryan Gars attended a hurricane conference.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's just a matter not if, but just a matter of when.
Correct.
And one of the big highlights out of that conference for me is, do we really have a coordinated effort in the county to manage all these things? Because when it hits, you're in a firefight and trying to figure out what to do. And now is the time for us all to come together to have a plan in place. I'm sure there is one. I'm sure it's documented somewhere, I hope. But, what do we do? Who do we contact when it does happen? So this is one vital part in that method of communication. So thanks for doing this presentation.
I couldn't have said what you said better, because that's exactly what we try to do, is so that when it happens, you guys are way too busy with other more important, people's lives and stuff like that. And so having this in place, and that's why we work with the emergency manager. And Ryan's great, why we work with them to make sure that we're in existence, so that we're not trying to scramble to do it while there's more important things to do. So,
I think we had 3 projects right in our Pyramid County. 2 were in my precinct, one was in Skidmore. It was done by one of the recovery groups. Yeah. I do remember one that was refurbishing 2 houses.
Are there any other questions?
Great questions. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Moving on, agenda item number 10, present awards to Robert Ramirez, former Sheriff's Office Deputy. Sheriff Southland, come on down, sir. Oh, okay. Former Sheriff, Mark. I'm sorry.
Yes, sir. Judge Morrow and Commissioners, this is kind of a place I'm here there. Want money. We're here to recognize what one of our sheriff's reserves accomplished in Pawnee. But first of all, let me digress and go back. Hopefully you understand why we were needing reserves. I came here in 1968. We had 3 deputies for the whole county. And that was quite short. things were moving pretty rapidly, and of course, B County was no different than any other counties. We're all looking for money. No money for deputies, no money for this, no money for that. So anyway, the legislatures said, okay, we're gonna create a sheriff's reserve, which they did. And each reserve had to be certified, same as a regular deputy. And we had to attend classes, certified instructors to create it, they did. And I'm trying to put all this together because we had so many things going on. Commission on jail standards, commission on Texas Commission Officer Standards in Education, do this, do that, shall. Most of you don't understand the legal term shall. They don't mean you'll think about it, you will do it, or they'll close you down. So we had to deal with that. And so then we had, back then we had to take all inmates that was sentenced to penitentiary to Huntsville. Then we had all the calls to do, go here, go do that. The furthest I've ever been to go pick up one when I was working in San Patricia County, we had to go to Fort Leavenworth, North Kansas to pick up a prisoner there. Just as we got there, they closed it down, they had a murder in there, so we didn't get to get in, we had to come back home. So anyway, back to you. I get started, I can't stop. I spent 40 years in law enforcement, first 3 in San Patricio County, and then 37 years here in B County, and the last 28 years as sheriff. Wonderful, wonderful opportunity. I enjoyed every moment of it. And my wife, Brenda, raise your hand, Brenda. She's a retired school teacher. We make our home downtown Normanna, and we enjoy it. But I'll try to get to you this. I try to paraphrase this. It's too much going on. But anyway, Robert Ramirez, Ramirez, no?
Yes, it's okay. Much more. 74.
Well, I'll be 83. So anyway, he applied. Of course, all the reserves had to do the same as the regulars, be certified. We classes mostly at night, I think.
Yes.
So we did that, got them all certified. But let me see, where do we go next? We had problems, jail problems, jail problems, jail problems. The old 1936 jail, which still exists, 200 East Corpus Christi Street. Just a big old brick building with jail cell in it. That was it. And there's no way in the world that thing would have ever been certified according to the state standards. So anyway, the jail commission, which seen reports that we had to turn in every month on stipulations of how many people you had in jail. Of course, they caught it right quick. We had an average daily population of 8 prisoners, our average daily population. Well, Austin caught it pretty quick when ours got up to 35. And that you got to do something. We're closing you down, so give us an idea of what you're going to do. Well, then, that old jail was remodeled for 8. They built 8 individual cells next to the old Cleveland house. And of course, again, records showed we were up in the high 30s. Going to close you down, need to do something. Had a new commissioner's court then. They decided to build a new jail out behind the hospital, 96 beds, all top notch, everything compliant. Problems just started. That undoubtedly was one of the worst built things called a jail I was in 3 different jails, but that was the worst. And had problems every day. There was problems. So again, we relied on the reserves. We had to take our prisoners to Georgia West until they tried to do something about it. Well, they built that building out there, and I'll tell you a little bit about that. That, like I say, was just numerous problems, worthless thing. And so I'll add to that. After well, I don't know what year, we moved out there in 89, and, of course, the commission said we're gonna close you down because of more problems. Well, I got a call from the county judge in Cameron County, the last one south. They said, we are building a $40 million jail. Your man that builds your jail is a running for building this one. What is your thing? I said, I wouldn't let that man build me a chicken coop. Well, guess who I got a call from? I'm threatening you, I'm going to file a lawsuit against you. I said, go ahead. I've got it well documented, by photographs, witnesses, everything. Do what you want to do, but I'll meet you in court. To this day, I've never heard a word from him. So anyway, Robert, I'm sorry, I'll get talking here. Well, there's so much going on. I had 30 years in San Francisco County, 37 years here, last 28 years as sheriff, and it's, that must be a little older. So anyway, Robert applied, and what was that date, February the 17th? He got a call of a major automobile accident in Pawnee by the high school.
By the high
52.
school. Yes, sir.
And, anyway, I think I was in Warrensville, somewhere in there. I was in a route up there. And of course, we got the call on the radio that shots fired, officer down. So I knew what that meant. I called George West. At that time, Ranger Casey King was our ranger station. George West asked him to come and meet us there, and he did. And we weren't there 5 minutes, it seemed like. It was on the east side where the shots were fired.
72 and 798.
Yeah, so, and anyway, we heard a shot, and some guy hollered, he's over here, he's over here. So Casey and I ran over there, and seeing a young man on the ground there. I thought he was deceased, but he was still kind of breathing. And what was finally discovered, he took that firearm that he shot Robert with and did himself in. So anyway, you had already gone to the hospital, and I'll try to speed it up here just so.
Take your time, sure.
But anyway, thank the good Lord, Robert made it, and several months later, you got a bill.
Yes.
But hey, we came over here to Commissioner's Court, they said, no, that's, the reserves are strictly volunteer.
Yeah.
We have no way of paying for it. No. So, oil company finally,
Valero?
they said, well, yeah, Valero
Yes, they did.
stepped forward and said they would take care of the bill. Praise the Lord. So anyway, Robert, is just amazing what you done for B County and the sheriff's office back then. Like I said, a lot of water running under the bridge.
Oh, yes.
Man, I used to be black-headed. But anyway, we just want to take an opportunity
Thank you.
to recognize you again for a job well done. Never got a complaint on you. You took care of it. And, but anyway, it's a wonderful opportunity that we have here to present you with this. Where's your, oh, there you are. You want to get that out, please? You want to read it? Sure.
Go ahead. I can see.
Award of appreciation awarded to Robert Ramirez for actions on February 17, 1990. During accident investigation, Ramirez was fired upon, sustaining a gunshot wound. Ramirez was able to keep his composure, reporting the incident immediately and leading other deputies to the location of the suspect. The behavior and professionalism exhibited by Ramirez on this night brought great credit to himself, his family, and the community that he continued to serve. Thank you for your service. One thing I'd like to do just before we actually handle it, what led to this was Angeline's son entered, which is his daughter, entered in our junior deputy academy. And he was talking about his grandfather, and her son asked if he had heard all the stories, and asked if his grandfather could come and talk to the junior deputies. That's how we met. Now, also another thing to bear in mind is this accident he was responding to, one of his other daughters was involved in that accident. And help, yes. Oh, also, okay. So he was responding to a family accident, but at the same time, he still was taking care of the other guy up until he turned on him. But I'm very proud to be part of this. Sheriff Warren, I'd like for you to present it to him, but I'm very proud to be part of this. This is outstanding, and I know his family's very proud of him. His grandson, he's certain, I wish he's not here, right, Jim?
Yes.
Okay, yes. But I know he was very proud. We listened to stories in the Junior Deputy Academy, and he's very proud of it.
It was very, very good. Folks, I'll tell you, there's no secret what way the United States of America is headed today. Riots, burning, open borders, murders, whatever coming across. And so we need to support all of this.
You know, no matter how much schooling you have, law enforcement schooling, how many years or experience you have, it's your blood. It hurts. If you're a professional, you gotta keep going. You have to keep going. Protect and serve the county, the people. We go through this in school. We talk about it. I remember talking about it. What if it's your family, your wife, your daughter, what happened to them? It never happens to anybody, any officer. I want to thank y'all for the thought of us.
We thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Can we get you up here with two sheriffs? Get the family up here too, it's a good idea.
Bring your water too.
And each of the family can get your phones to Chief Deputy Jones, who is an amazing photographer. Step up. Family?
You too, your mom was in it.
I was at home. I was there when he got shot. I was there when I got shot. I was supposed to see her.
Yeah, we don't have her.
She was in the grass.
I tell you what I'm doing. I'm going to do this thing, you know. I'm taking pictures. He's like,
They look like they're right now.
You guys in the middle.
There you go.
Not sure who we're supposed to be looking at.
Hold on, one more right here. 1, 2, 3.
Okay, relax your belly.
Okay, everything.
All the family?
Come on up, family. Y'all can stand in front of us.
Absolutely.
All right, Chief.
I gotta let y'all breathe. Okay, ready? Hold it. 1, 2, 3. Got it.
Thank you all for being here.
gonna get a Snapchat. Just kicking me out. Just kicking me out.
All right. Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
Of course.
That must be,
It happens to the best of us.
Unfortunately.
That's what I'm hoping now. You turn 40, I turned 39, and that next morning we were birthday. This is what that feels like. I know, right? God, I look good when I was
We call the world, which is here. It's going to be different. Second appliance.
I did 4 years in there.
He ate a whole lot better than we had air conditioning. The only people that had it easy were here for
Robert? That's what he was just telling me. And we've got it now that he's older and older.
Yeah, it's more.
A little bit.
Yeah.
No, not much, but yeah.
Robert, thank you, Robert. Thank you, Sharon.
Yeah, the excuse.
Thank you, sir. You made the excuse, Sharon. It's always nice to see you. Please take care. Be safe.
That's it.
Give it up for your Candy, we should put that at the end of the agenda. The rest of the agenda is going to be quite boring and overwhelming. Y'all are welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting, but there is no requirement that you do so. So if you're looking for permission to do this, just got the green light. Thank you, sir, once again. Y'all take care. Yeah, one of the privileges of being on Commissioner's Court, though, is getting to experience scenes like that. That was really neat. Okay.
You don't realize sometimes the gems and jewels you have in hand.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah.
It goes back to what you were saying earlier, you know, you just don't know what the next minute's going to be. Now it's minutes.
Okay, moving on, agenda item number 11, approve agreement between B County and Lynn Engineering LLC for professional services at the new Emergency Operations Center. This is, come on down. Or, Ms. Lee, either of y'all.
This is just an ad, it should be
Yeah,
pretty
it's
quick.
just-
Yeah, just real quick, just the specs for the parking lot for the EOC, just the parking lot section. So just, this has to go through court in order for the specs to be.
Yeah,
And it's a
it wasn't included.
$5,800 adder.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
No, absolutely. Yeah, it's just an adder that wasn't included in the original specs, and we figured it was the best thing to do now.
We have the money.
Yes, I propose to pay it out of 409, our non-departmental. We have monies in there for professional service. And as far as the materials and labor, I think we can use our interest monies if the court wants to go that route.
Because this is just for the engineering, then the concrete work and all that's gonna be another.
Of course, the labor and material, yes, yes, sir.
Move to approve.
Have a motion to approve. Do I have a second? Multiple seconds. Any further discussion?
The amount, as the judge said, is $5,800 for the record.
Yes.
And we expect the amount for the actual construction to be about that same too, so sharpen your pencils.
Fingers crossed. Yeah.
Is that, do
gonna be
you
this
know
big.
about what size that slab's gonna be?
No, I don't have the exact specs right now,
I think
but I
it was
know.
two rows. I
Two
think it
rows.
was 2 rows in the back.
Okay, on the west side of the building?
Which would, yes, sir, on the west side.
Yes,
Okay.
thank you.
The back.
The
Back.
All right, if there's no further discussion, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. Agenda item number 12, approved building automation system technical support agreement between B County and Climatech for the courthouse. I've got,
Mr. Scott Raymond from Climatech, in case y'all have any questions.
Move to approve with a few questions.
hey, Mr. Raymond, how are you?
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve. Further discussion, Mr. Raymond, do you have anything you'd like to add?
Been a pleasure to work with y'all.
I appreciate you. We met in my office, and I know that if anything's going off kilter, that John would have let me know, and I haven't heard anything. So thank you. It's a complicated old system, and we remain optimistic and hopeful that we can get all the various kinks worked out. So
Been our pleasure.
thank you, sir.
Does that take care of both the boiler and?
I
think it was one of
No.
Not this time.
This is more control systems and trying to keep the temperatures close.
If I could.
Oh, please, go ahead.
The amount that I see is $20,877 per year. It's a 3-year contract, that'd be each year. And it's set up for payments, but Judge, if we can pay it all at once, is that, or do you want to do payments?
I believe we're set up on payments, which
Okay.
work.
Okay, then I noticed that this also includes courthouse, the exposition center, the justice center, and the sheriff's office and jail, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Which to me is a bargain, because it's got all of our big areas that are included. Looking at the service plan, got a lot of boxes checked. The ones that aren't checked is component repair and replacement, one thing and another. John, is it, the boxes you checked, is that what you need, is there something else that you want us to add?
Oh, yes, sir, that's good.
It covers everything, and I have to appreciate these folks. From everything I've done, everything I see, you're doing a fantastic job. You're keeping us warm, you're keeping us cool, you're keeping the lights on, so that's a good thing.
That's what we like to hear.
That's all it is.
Thank you so much. I've already had a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes without exception. Agenda item number 13, approve renewal of lease agreement between B County and Upgrade Head Start for the land located at 300 South 6th Street in Skidmore.
Good morning, Judge Commissioners. In your packet, you should have the lease agreement for, like Judge said, the land at 600 East 6th Street. We lease the land from the county for $1 a year. So we just want to make sure that we can request to approve that for renewal.
And for record, you are Roxana El
Yes,
Garza.
Roxana Garza, sorry.
No, that's okay.
Interim superintendent for Upper Head Start.
Thank you so much for being here this morning. I think we've done this, it's the third or fourth year
We did
since
last
we
year.
relocated.
Yes, I'd like to make a motion that we approve. I'll second with a comment.
I have a motion in a second, Commissioner Whitfield.
I worked with Ms. Garza for years and years and years when she was BCAA and I was personal commissioner's court. She's always done a fantastic job. She's very competent. She knows what she's doing.
Thank you.
Oh, it's glowing.
Hey.
Hey, right.
Okay.
All right, no further discussion. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. Thank you again, ma'am, for being here this morning. Agenda item number 14, approved disposal of 2 district attorney vehicles, 2011 Ford VIN ending 9485 and 2014 Chevy Tahoe VIN ending in 4009 to be declared unsalvageable, sold by CM auction, and once sold, money is returned to the forfeiture fund.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. Agenda item number 15, approved professional services agreement between iDocket and B County for the district clerk's office. Ms. Silva, is there anything, any presentation you want to make? I know this is largely housekeeping at this point in time. And I know she's worked really, really hard with iDocket, so hopefully this is a turn in the right direction.
That's right, and we know that this is going to make it better, hopefully. I mean, I'm praying for that. I know Craig looked at the different things and he really liked it, and so he said he believes that going to the cloud is going to be better for us than where we're at now. So.
And the most important fact is that this contract provides, is it additional services? But it provides them at a lower cost.
Correct. That's the better part. It's like,
If there's anybody on the
because
fence.
we've been at it for a year, the conversion wasn't as great as they presented it to be. We've had lots and lots and lots of bugs. We still haven't been able to fix it. And so, after I pretty much threatened them, well, I shouldn't say that. We had our collision, both of us, and this was their, like the judge said, their olive branch to us to make it better, to bump us up to the best software that they had, kind of compatible to Tyler technology, really.
Move to approve this.
I'll second with a comment.
I have a motion and a second. Commissioner DeWitt, you have the floor.
Thank you.
Correct me if I'm wrong, the year one is gonna be $31,500.
That's correct. It was at 37.9, I think.
And then, year 2 and ongoing will be another 31.5, which is a lot less than we're doing before. And one of the questions I had that IT looked at, but he has an extensive letter, and he's glowing and saying it's gonna save the county a lot of money. Some servers that we were having to provide is gonna be all in the cloud. So, all in all, this is fantastic. It's gonna save a lot of money and be very efficient.
That's what we're hoping for, Judge. I mean, Commissioner, that's what we're hoping for. You know, that's what they're promising me, and I believe them. I really do. I want to believe them because I have no choice. You know, they really have been working hard with me, and I think poor April and lots of other people that I have really stressed out. Candy, I mean, I can tell you the people that we have just been overwhelmed because it's been so, the conversion is hard to begin with, and when something doesn't work, it makes it even harder. So this is their promise to me.
Well, I'm certain that iDocket will be successful if for no other reason they've got you looking over their shoulder, making sure that they get things done like you need them to.
And I think they gave us like free training, a lot of, to make it easier, so yes.
Good job. Good
Yeah,
job.
the number you
Thank
don't
you,
see is the staff time that's saved with the amount of time that it takes to resolve the whole position.
Which will make it easy.
If there's no further discussion, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, Mrs. Silva.
Thank you all so much.
Agenda item number 16, approve Texas opioid settlement agreements. We have no settlement agreements to approve. Moving on, agenda item number 17, Hurricane Harvey, Texas General Land Office, GLO, Community Development Block Grant, CDBG status and project update. Gentlemen, anything to say?
No updates right now.
Okay. Moving on, agenda item number 18, American Rescue Plan ARP status and projects. Gentlemen, anything to update?
Nothing, sir.
Okay, we do have an executive session item this morning, so I'm going to go ahead and read out the notice at this time. Public notice is given that the B County Commissioners Court may elect to go into executive session anytime during the meeting to discuss matters listed on the agenda pursuant to the authority granted under the Texas Government Code, Chapter 551. Immediately before any executive session, the specific section or sections of the Texas Government Code, Chapter 551, that provide statutory authority will be announced. Upon completion of the executive session, the Commissioners Court may, in an open session, take such action as appropriate on items discussed in an executive session. Agenda item number 19, executive session pursuant to Texas Government Code, Section 551.071, contemplated litigation, Fiat diesel multi-district litigation. The time is 10:06 a.m. We will go off the record and we'll go into executive session. We're going to take a 5-minute recess before we get live on executive session. Thank you all so much for being here this morning. You're welcome to hang out. Once we're done with executive session, the meeting will open back up and everybody will be let back in.